all the seasoning. It's perfectly balanced.
If there's one dish that represents India, it is bhel puri. It is the most pan-Indian dish of India. Just everything that I know of India coming together on one plate. United States of India on a plate. I mean, I know there's a lot of, molecular gastronomy and tweezer food, as I call it, out there. But I'm like, right here in our backyard is cuisine that is brilliant and interesting and innovative, and it's been around for, 100 years.
For this plate of award-winning chaat, I was willing to travel. And it was worth the journey all the way from California to North Carolina's hill town of Asheville. Asheville celebrity chef Meherwan Irani put Indian food on the Asheville map. And when his restaurant chain called Chai Pani won the prestigious James Beard Award, he put Asheville on the food map of the world. He did this without a culinary degree, by staying true to his multicultural roots in India and memories of his childhood from Ahmednagar, Maharashtra.
And I love this dish, bhel puri, just because of how all these different components from different part of the country came together. I mean, puff rice, known as marmura, this is about as South Indian as it gets. I mean, it's still 90% of the starch of South India is rice, and that's where that came from. Now we're going to put some onions in here, some cilantro in here. I even specify the cut of cilantro to be India cut, not the fine cut.
What is India cut cilantro?
Jungli cut, rough cut. Not the fine chiffonade that you see over here, but that sort of real rustic cut, because you need the chunks of cilantro, not those thin, patla cut cilantro in there. Right? So let's give it a little more cilantro, a little more onions, lots of green chutney, and then tamarind chutney. And this is something that took me a long time to find the perfect tamarind chutney. Real dates, real jaggery, ginger, and blocks of tamarind. We don't use syrup, and then we put it all together, boil it, for hours together until we make this nice. I mean, look at the color of that. How beautiful that is.
This is your own tamarind chutney.
Everything is literally invented and refined over 13 years to make it perfect. I mean, let's see. You got it.
I have to taste this.
Just let me give you a little bump of tamarind.
Oh.
You should be able to taste the ginger, the dates, not too sweet, not too sour, not too spicy, just this balance.
It's bold, it's strong, it's deep.
Now also puris enter the mix. How did a puri and rice come together? God knows, but they pulled it off.
So someone came up with that. Someone decided to mix the puris with rice.
Yeah. And you notice I'm putting the puris in second so that they don't get soggy if I was to put them in with just the chutneys. And you fold it all together. And I want nice big chunks of puris, almost like papadis, so that whenever you get a bite, you get a nice big bite of the puri. All right, and then
so who do you think invented this? Where do you think it came together, the bhel puri that we're eating all over the country, all over the world?
I think in a big city, probably like Bombay, maybe in Surat, maybe in Delhi. But wherever it came about, it was a street vendor, and it was because there was a large migrant population of people from all around the country working there. Because they have to make dishes that a Bengali can eat, a Gujarati can eat, a vegetarian can eat, a non-vegetarian can eat. You know what I mean? They have to make dishes that cross all the religious restrictions that people have around food.
So how did you learn to mix it all together? Because it's a certain art, right? The person who's making you that chaat, they're really key to the chaat. It's not just the ingredients. So how did you develop that hand, as they say, to make it delicious?
Eating lots and lots and lots of bhel puri. Till today, I go to India 2 to 3 times a year and travel and eat chaat. From, like I said, from Surat to Jodhpur to Cochin to Lucknow to Delhi to Bombay. We call it bhel mix.
So the locals take to it well, huh? They're ordering bhel puri.
Everything here has a sense of purpose.
It's so perfect for carrying food. Ready-made chai, what more can I ask for?
Wall with family pictures on it.
It's
paper plates,
amazing.
baskets, bowls.
It's not Michelin star, which is what usually attracts really high-profile awards. So how did you attract such a high-profile award when you were serving food in a really casual setting?
It's a really good question.
How did you get this award?
We were still stunned
Doing
ourselves.
food that's not like tablecloths and lots of fancy place settings.
Yeah, I think to give credit to these award organizations now, they're starting to recognize that a restaurant can have significance outside of just what's on the table and the plate.
Incredible.
So
And the story says it all.
Yeah, so I think the story of Chai Pani matters as much as what's on the plate.
So tell me about these dishes,
Sure.
Meherwan. So this is okra fry, which my kids call karara bhindi and ask me to cook, and I don't do it very well. But this is super thin. Look, each fry is really wafer thin.
Well, as you know, traditionally, bhindi is cut in half and then dipped in, chickpea batter, and you can make almost like a pakora out of it, or you can stuff the bhindi and then fry it. But my mom, as I was saying, when I was a kid, I just didn't like bhindi at all. I didn't like bhindi masala. One day she walks out of the house like this, with the bhindi fried, with just chaat masala and lemon juice, and my brother and I just couldn't stop eating it. But okra is a very important ingredient in the South. It was bought by the first slaves that were brought here from Africa bought a lot of their foods with them, and okra was one of the things they brought to the South. So it's part of the history, part of the culture, part of the tradition.
Is it popular?
Oh, good God. It's probably a signature dish. I mean,
Really?
it is the one that has graced the cover of many magazines, probably the one that has been copied, imitated the most by chefs everywhere.
No way.
We've had
Not
chefs.
fair.
No. So I've done the same thing. I'm stealing from my mom. I'm stealing from the Vada Pav guy outside of the Fire Temple in Pune. I'm stealing from the SPDP guy at Elko Market. I mean, we're all trying to basically find our take, our version, our story of the same food. I mean, food has been the same for a long, long time. Even the exposure of Indian food to the world, people are proud that it comes from Asheville. Not San Francisco, LA, New York, Boston, or Philadelphia. I am so proud that this little town is where we got to present ourselves to the world and get all this acclaim and accolades.
Nice. So Meherwan, I actually totally forgot.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be having chai with you.
Oh, let's have chai.
On my coffee break. This is our
Let's
coffee
have
break
chai.
show. So I put away my coffee because I'm in Chai
And
Pani
you have to have
chain
chai.
of restaurants. So let's have chai, and then we'll talk a little bit more, and
Do
then
you
we'll
know
go
that
for
I
it.
gave up drinking coffee the day I opened Chai Pani?
What?
Well, how can somebody that owns a restaurant called Chai Pani ever be seen with a cup of coffee, right? So I've not had a sip of coffee in 13 years.
What are you saying?
No. You know what it's like in India?
No wonder you're so calm.
Well, chai can get me hopped up too, but we have a spiritual tradition that when something great is given, to offer something back in return, like to the universe. And my spiritual tradition, the day Chai Pani opened, was to say I will never drink coffee again for the rest of my life. Because, it was my giving back in a way, because that was sort of the spiritual tradition that I was raised in. So, yeah.
As advice for people who are starting out, a lot of people are really drawn to the idea of opening a restaurant. It's probably one of the hardest businesses to run, and to have them run long term.
But it needs to be personal. If it's not actually personal to you in your story, then it's contrived, and you're doing a Disney version of it. So all these pictures on the wall, that's my family. Yeah, my dad's blind. My mom married him, he was losing his eyesight, and she knew that he was losing his eyesight. But she still agreed to marry him, and even though it was an arranged marriage, she was given a choice, and she agreed because the families were very close. And so I grew up, in 70s India. You can imagine for a woman to be the head of not the head of the family, that's not what I meant, but to be the outward-facing part of the family that has to go out and earn a living and start a business and handle the business, how hard it was. And I saw her fearlessly go into this patriarchal society of a man's world and hold her own, and and create a successful business for herself, manage the household, and let me and my brother get to where we are in life with the education we had and the opportunity to go and study abroad. And she kind of single-handedly did that. She started a home-based business because she didn't have a college education. So she couldn't go out and just get a job. She didn't have money to go out and have, open a small business of her own. So she started a home-based business, like a little boutique, and it used to be out of the back bedroom. And then grew that into something that could support the family. And then conversely, I also saw my dad never let his blindness be a handicap that prevented him from doing anything. I still, probably people know by now, but I can't tell you how many times we would have folks that would come to our house that were visiting for the first time, come have lunch, leave, and never know my dad couldn't see. He didn't walk around with a cane. He didn't wear the glasses. He didn't act like he couldn't see. He moved naturally to the home. He looked at you when you were talking to him. He would know instinctively when somebody said hello, they'd put their hand out. He'd know that their hand was out. He'd put his hand out. People would come and have an entire meal with us and leave and not know my dad couldn't see. So those two influences of my mom being fearless in business, not letting anything hold her back, and getting rid of any preconceived notions of what a woman can and can't do in India, which does not seem that radical today, but it was radical for 71, 72, 73, 70, those early 70s, especially in a very conservative town like Ahmednagar. And then for my dad to not let a handicap reduce him to a lesser person than who he is. I got privileged and blessed that I was able to find something where I felt like, now I know what I'm supposed to do. It's the mindset is less about what do I not have, but more of by not having this, what are the other gifts that are amplified? And I never look back. I mean, I was 39 when I opened Chai Pani. And people keep asking me, can you imagine if you had started when you were younger? And I'm like, actually, I can't imagine. I think that I needed to go through everything I went through, all the hardships that Molly and I went through. I mean, there were times where we were borrowing $200, $300 from friends to make it through paying our bills, and so I'm like, no, that was the gift that was given, so that when we finally found the thing that we could do well, it guided us in how to have that humility and the ethos of giving back.